Hello, in this tutorial we will create animation of opening and closing of the knife and the sounds for it. First of all, as a tradition, let's hide the environment sphere because it will be in the way. Now let's go to the front view, and the plan goes like that. We will be selecting one by one all the objects that we need to animate from the outliner on the left and animate them one by one. So first, let's prepare our scene for animation. We need to set FPS to 24 frames per second and the animation length to 50 frames. And that's all the preparations that we need. So the first instrument to animate will be all. I have enabled the auto key, but the first frames I will set up manually by pressing this button here or by pressing K on a keyboard. Okay, let's set the first key, then go to 50th frame and then just rotate our instrument. And thanks to auto key, the keyframe will be automatically set. Now let's animate the next instrument, big knife. And let's do just the same. First keyframe set, then go to 50th frame and rotate it. Okay, good. The animation for first two instruments is done. Now let's make animation of other instruments using the same principle. Alright, all simple animations are done. Now let's talk about scissors animation. Scissors have several moving parts. So if we just animate the main parts using the same principle, all other elements will be left inside the knife, and we don't want this. To fix it, we need to tie all the moving parts to the main parts of the scissors. For that, let's go to the perspective view, then select secondary part of scissors, and now select and link. That will tie them together. Also, we have the central part. We need to tie it to the main parts as well. It won't be animated, but still it needs to move along the main parts. Also, we have two springs. One is in scissors closed position and another is in scissors open position. Why we need both of them, we will answer a little bit later. Okay, now I have tied all the elements of the scissors to its main part, so when the main part moves, other parts move as well. Let's go back to front view. And let's animate secondary part of scissors. Well, we will not open the scissors itself right away, so let's give them, let's say, 25 frames. For that, first I will set a keyframe for the frame 0. Then I will manually set another keyframe on 25th frame, and after that, again on the 50th frame, I will rotate it. Okay, everything is working. Now let's add the spring animation, because originally it is the spring which opens the scissors. Let's select the spring in scissors closed position. Then let's select the second tab here. And now let's add the morpher modifier. So we will animate the spring using morphing or vertex animation. Here let's select first slot and then pick object from scene. Here let's select our second spring, which is open. And now, if I change this parameter, by the way, let's turn auto key off for now. So you can see that the spring is opening, and if we turn it all the way up, the spring will open fully. Now we don't need the open spring anymore, let's hide it, and let's animate the morphing. Let's go to frame 0. Here let's set 0, default form. Then let's go to frame 50 and set the parameter to 100. Okay, so the spring is being animated now, but it is a bit too fast. Because remember, we started the scissors opening animation from the 25th frame. So let's do the same here and set the parameter to 0 on 25th frame as well. And now everything will work perfectly. So the scissors opening animation is done. The next elements to animate will be toothpick and the tweezers. These animations will also be a bit more complex. For the tweezers, again I will set the first keyframe on frame 0. Then on the 25th frame, I will set the second keyframe when the tweezers are out. And after that, the tweezers will move a bit to the right and towards the front. So we kind of demonstrated. So in the beginning we have the simple animation of moving the tweezers out, and then it moves a bit away. Also, to demonstrate it even better, let's tilt it a little bit on its final keyframe. This secondary animation also starts from 25th-ish frame. So to summarize it, the tweezers are going out and move and tilt a little bit after that. And now the same needs to be done for the toothpick. It will be a bit more difficult because the toothpick needs to move at an angle. So let's set the first keyframe, and again to the 25th frame the toothpick will move by its z-axis. Now let's add a little shift on x-axis, so that makes it move down with a little angle. Okay, and after that let's also move it a little bit forward. And a bit to the side, again so we kinda demonstrated. Also, let's tilt it a bit. Okay, but now we may notice that the rotation starts from the 0 frame, not from the 25th frame. For that, let's go to 25th frame, set all the rotation to 0, and then set a keyframe. Alright, that completes the animations. Let's set the viewport back to camera. Now if we sneak peek our scene, we will see all animations that we just created. It starts automatically, right with the start of the application. But we need it to start when we click a button. So let's go back to Max. Then let's select each of these objects, and in Verge3D animation param, let's turn off the auto start checkmark. Also, let's set loop mode to once. We need to do it for each animated object. Now, if we sneak peek the scene, we will see that there is no animation playing, it is waiting. So, let's add some logic, which will start all the animation on the press of a button. We will start by grouping all the animated objects. It will be easier to set the logic for the whole group at once. So we won't need to create logic for each object, each animation. So I've selected all the animated objects, pressed group, and let's call it animated parts. Now let's export everything to Verge3D. Open the application. As we can see, no animation playing yet. Now let's go to puzzles. And let's add animation start by pressing the button Unfold button. For that I will need the puzzle when clicked from the events group. And here we need to set the trigger object. So in our case, it is Unfold knife button. Then I will need the puzzle play animation. Here I will set once for it to start only once. Then from the selectors I will take the group of objects puzzle and select here our animated parts. Also, for all the animations from the group to work correctly, I will need get animation of puzzle. Let's plug it here and then plug it all into the play animation puzzle. Now let's save and relaunch the application. Let's press the button and all animations are playing. Okay, and now let's add the closing animation. We won't need to do everything again, all the animations again, we'll just play this animation backwards. I will copy all the blocks and instead of Unfold button, I will select Fold button. Also in Play Animation Puzzle, I will press the gear for the options and select here Advanced Playback Options. Also here we need to set the frame range, so from 0 to 50. And let's set the reversed checkmark. Okay, now everything is set, let's save and reload the application. Now, if we press Unfold, then the animation will start. If we press Fold, the animation will play in reverse. But if I press Fold again, the animation will start again, even though the knife is already folded. Because, well, the button doesn't know this yet. So, let's fix it. For that, we will need the variable, which we will call knife unfolded. This variable will be logical variable, so we need the puzzle true, false from the logic group. So basically it will check if the knife is closed, then it's false. If the knife is open, then true. Also from the logic group we will need if puzzle, which will check this variable's condition. Also, we will take equal variable and logical condition. So now this puzzle checks if the variable knife unfolded is false or not. If it is false, then the animation of unfolding the knife will play. Let's copy it and create a new logical block which will check if this variable is true or if the knife is unfolded, so we can play the folding animation. And now, after unfolding the knife, we need to change this variable condition. So when knife will be unfolded, we will set this variable condition to true, and we need to do it after the animation stops. For that, we will need when finished slot. Now let's plug this puzzle in here. Now when animation stops, the knife unfolded variable will become true. And now we need to add the same here. So after the animation of all the instruments folding back, the variable will become false. Okay, now let's save and reload the application. And now let's unfold and try to unfold one more time. It doesn't happen. The logic that we've set prevents it. Now let's try to fold it and fold again, and again nothing happens. So the logic works perfectly. Now we have interactions for animations ready. Okay, and next we will add sounds. For that, let's go to Audio Video, and here we need the sound puzzle. Here we need to set the path to our sound file. It is in Sounds folder and is called unfold.mp3. Also, here we will need the play puzzle. Let's plug our sound puzzle into it. And now we need to place it with play animation sound. Alright, next we need to set the volume. The puzzle set volume will help us with that. Let's place it here and then plug into it our sound file. Now let's copy this puzzle into the folding setup, but with a little change. Let's change it to fold.mp3. That is the second audio file for folding the knife. And now let's set volume for it as well. Alright, let's save. Back to our application. Unfold. And now we hear the sound. Same is for folding, though it is a bit loud, so let's set volume to 0.2. Again, let's save, reload, open and close. Alright, that's perfect. Last thing to do is to bring back the environment sphere. Now let's re-export. Back to the application. Reload it. And now everything is in place. Alright, in this tutorial we learned how to work with animation and sounds. See you in the next tutorial.